All right. Good morning, everyone, over from the west, from here and to the west, and good afternoon to everybody, like way off to the east, over on that coast over there. Guys, I know you're probably missing Mikey today. I'm sorry he's not here, but I will do my best to fill in, and Rob's gonna kind of offer some color commentary as well as he's able. So. First thing that we're going to talk about this morning is the Saudi Arabia oil issue, man. Some coordinated attacks over the weekend. Everybody's kind of sitting there like, yeah, we know who did this. We know exactly who did this. Just like we all knew exactly who did the oil tanker bombings and whatnot. But since nobody's come out and said anything, it's been kind of this just big posturing and saber rattling, which I kind of address in my latest article up there if you guys want to read it. Saber rattling is freaking lame. Here's the reason I don't like it if you don't really want to go and read. I know reading is hard, especially for Marines. Saber rattling's dumb. If somebody does something to warrant military force, then they shouldn't know that we're about to do it. That's called telegraphing, and that's not a good strategic move. And if they don't do something, or if they do something that doesn't warrant force, then just leave them alone and be like, hey, we didn't really appreciate that. No need to threaten them. No need to give away anything away, because once you threaten them, once you say, oh, we're going to send you back into the Stone Age, like once you do that, if they call your bluff, you either have to send them back into the Stone Age or look like a total tool who doesn't follow through with his word. And that's probably gotten us into some wars that we haven't really wanted to be in from time to time. But because of saber rattling, it is what it is. So first off, guys, what are your thoughts on the Saudi Arabia oil attacks? Everybody's saying that, well, not everybody, but the Houthi rebels in Yemen are claiming responsibility for the attacks, which were carried out by drones. Everybody knows that the Houthis in Yemen are supplied by Iran, right? Okay. Everybody knew that. I wasn't sure if everybody knew that, but I just thought you guys should all know that. Well, it's true though. Like, not everybody knows that. Like, not everybody pays attention to stuff, Rob. Like, that's why we have the show. It's so I can tell them.
Well, I mean, this is the first I'm hearing about it, so I guess I'm in that percentage of people that don't understand.
There are some rebels in Yemen who are directly supplied by the Iranians. There you go. That news that you are now as up to date as somebody 2 years ago was. Awesome. Rob is very happy about that. Guys, here's the thing. We all know where we stand on forever wars. Like, war sucks. The vast majority of people hate war, and for good reason. Like, good people die, bad people die, innocent people die. As a whole, a lot of people freaking die. Some that need to die, and then a lot that don't need to die. War kind of sucks, and it should only be used as a last resort. But Iran is, they're kind of making fun of our saber rattling. Like, for a long time, we've said that we were gonna mess them up, and they're here carrying out these attacks, albeit indirectly, and with no hard evidence that they're behind it, but with enough evidence that it looks pretty damning. And we've threatened every time that we're gonna do some cray shit to them, but then we don't do any cray stuff to them, and then they're just like, well, I guess we can just keep on doing whatever we were doing. That's the danger of saber rattling. So if they do something worth fighting over, then fight them and mess them up. Can I drop the F-bomb? Can I say F them up, Rob? Or will we get kicked off?
No, let's keep it as clean as possible.
Let's keep it as clean as possible. See, guys, it's not me, it's Rob. Rob says I have to keep it clean.
Yeah,
exactly, guys. And it sucks. Let's see. I have a question. Why is every time one oil field goes up in flames, the only thing the media cares about is telling us how it's going to affect our fuel prices? Like, all of our fuel. Yeah, Andrew, I think that's a good point, because a lot of people there's a lot of fear mongering going on with the price of oil, and people are getting afraid, and it's driving up the prices, and it's this and that. If everybody would just calm down and stop freaking out and remember to be like, hey, this is how much gas is. This is how much gas I need to get to work. If I can't get to work because gas is too much, then, I need to call into my work and let them know. Obviously, they're handling it too, or dealing with the same situation. Maybe they can't make it into work because they live, your boss lives further out and he has to telecommute and work from home until the gas crisis gets resolved. Like, there are reasonable solutions to all of these problems, but everybody just jumps into this big panic mode as soon as something happens, like the world is ending. Chicken Little with the sky falling. The sky's not falling. It's fine. Like, we'll all be fine. Like, we have oil. It's okay. Everybody just calm down.
Well, and I think the main reason why we hear immediately about more like the effect it's going to have on our gas prices is because the media thinks that us hearing that is what's going to draw us to listen into the rest of it.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to play on...
They're playing on fear.
Yeah.
Fear drives. Guys, I hopefully you guys get the impression, our viewers, that I never try to fearmonger. I try to give you facts and make sure the facts are very distinguishable from my opinion on the whole matter, because that's only fair to you guys. We know it's hard to find like legitimate news sources that color in their facts with their opinions, and they don't always separate them well. But we do our best here to give you the facts and then definitively distinguish them from our own dipshit opinions. I wanted to use a lot of D's there.
Yeah.
Kind of like one of my ex-girlfriends used a lot of D's. Okay, all right, next topic. Something that I'm actually kind of sad about to report on. There's a pretty big fire in Farmington, Maine. One firefighter has been killed and 6 injured when a building exploded. They think it was due to a propane leak, natural gas leak. So if you guys could just, I know it's pointless and useless and whatnot, but if you just want to keep that town, Farmington, Maine, in your hearts today. Dealing with the death of a firefighter and the injury of 6 others is always hard, especially on the community when people live and work. I know Farmington. I've never heard of Farmington, so I'm assuming it's probably a kind of a smaller town. It's not necessarily a big city, so I'm sure that the relationships in the town will be strained with the loss and injury to these 6 firefighters. So please keep them in your thoughts today. And if you feel like praying to whatever deity you believe in, please go ahead. I'm sure they could use all the help they could get. Moving on, something kind of crappy, but also funny at the same time. A Border Patrol agent was shot about 115 miles west of San Antonio this past weekend, but his partner opened fire immediately on the gunman during a traffic stop, and the gunman is dead, and the Border Patrol agent is in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So he's gonna be fine, hopefully. Like, I'm not a doctor and I'm not in the ER, so I don't know what all his prognosis is, but the outlook on him is really good, and the outlook on the bad guy, apparently, what I heard from one of my confidential sources is that he got head canoed. The gunman got head canoed. It's where, for those of you guys that don't get the subtlety of what I'm saying, is when a guy gets shot in the head and it makes an exit, it turns his head into it looks like a canoe. All right.
Hold on, let's go back to that, because the biggest thing you said there besides the story was the fact that you have confidential informants. And
I didn't say informants, I said sources.
I
know a lot of people.
Okay.
Like, I talk to a lot of people, and people tell me things that they know about because they're in certain industries, but I'm not gonna, even though I'm not technically a journalist, I'm a writer. I don't give up my sources like that. Like, if you're my source, you're my source, and you're you're protected.
All right. I'd like to meet this source.
You can't meet him because I don't have assurances that you'd protect him. You might out him to the NSA or something, and yeah. I can't have that. Like, Rob, you might have sources at the NSA, and y'all are all keeping tabs on me. This is one just big elaborate operation to get me to admit to selling and running illegal guns.
Yeah, for the past year and a half, that's what I've been doing. You got me.
I knew it. Everybody, Rob is trying to get evidence on me for running guns. I'm not running guns. I promise. Not running guns.
As long as you promise, that's all I need to hear.
Yeah, Chris Keeper has just under a 3,000 person population in Farmington or Farmingdale. definitely affected everyone there. Man, that sucks. Farming Maine, our hearts are with you, man. Like, I wish we could do more. I really wish we did. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, we should can Rob. No, we're not gonna fire Rob. Rob's been threatened with getting fired quite enough during his tenure here. When he first started, I think Rob got fired like every other day when he first started. Is that right, Rob?
It was every other day, and if I can make it through that, I think I'm good.
Yeah,
I think I'm sticking around for a while.
For those of you guys that don't know, Hong Kong is still protesting. They are not happy over there. Like, everybody thought it was going to be this little thing, like with the extradition bill, where once it got shut down and people were like, nah, like, we're done with this. Everybody thought everybody'd go home. But due to the rampant, violent response of the police in Hong Kong to the protesters have just sold out. They're like, nah, your little concessions are of no consequence to us anymore. We're done with this crap. We want full out freedom. And they're begging the West. They're begging the United States. They're begging Britain, who they used to belong to. They're like, we want help getting freedom and liberty and rights. We're tired of this crap that the Chinese government and by extension the little kind of special government there in Hong Kong is pulling on us. They're done with it. They're tired of it. Also, the crazy thing is there are pro-Chinese government gangs that have been roaming around in Hong Kong beating any protester, like just beating them within a pulp. I haven't heard of any deaths, but there have been like several clashes between these gangs and the pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong. So guys, isn't it time we started running guns to Hong Kong? Like, get some De Oppresso Lieber boys to show up with them Green Berets to show up with a crate of weapons, be like, shh, don't tell anybody we did this. Could they hear me when I did that?
Yeah.
They could? Okay. Shh, don't tell anybody we gave Hong Kong guns. But we should definitely give Hong Kong guns. I'm on board. I wouldn't even be mad. I like whatever politician was like, yeah, let's run guns to Hong Kong. I'd be like, yeah, voting for you. I like this guy. Speaking guns, author Nathan Rubin said on his Twitter, new rule, you can't call yourself a law-abiding gun owner if your response to a mandatory gun buyback is come and get it. Either you'd follow the law and turn it in, because that'd be the law, or you're an irresponsible criminal who has no business owning an AK-47 or an AR-15. Well, Nathan, damn, man, that kind of puts things, oh wait, I don't really care if you're gonna take my gun away from me. And then you tell me that because I don't want to give it up that I'm a criminal who has no right to bear one. Like, I'm pretty sure they had a word for dudes like that back in the revolution. What was it? Tory loyalists, bunch of crown kissers, bunch of bootlickers, people that don't like freedom. I tell you what I'll call myself, Nathan. Call myself a free man, because a free man doesn't have to ask permission to bear arms. How about that? You can call me a criminal. It won't matter, because, I mean, like, it's not like you're going to do anything about it. Like, what are you going to do? Nothing. You're gonna pay somebody else to come and try to do something. That's all that's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. So if you guys think that's hilarious, wait till you hear the next story that we got going on. So everybody remembers how the Taliban has been continually attacking us despite us being in peace talks with them. Rob, you remember that, right? That's pretty big news, right?
Yeah,
well,
it's been going on for what, like a couple weeks now?
Yeah, after the last death that we got, the president and the nation was like, you know what? We're done with these negotiations. It's back to war. And so this week, 2 Taliban governors were killed by local Afghani forces with the help of U.S. airstrikes. So, I mean, 2 can play at this game if you really want, you know. But, Rob, like, do you see this as a surprise?
Well, I mean, we've been at war with them for, I don't know, what, 18 years now? Mm-hmm. So what's going to change? Some little peace talk where you're still attacking us? That's not going to change anything. I mean, obviously you have no intention to change, so therefore why should we?
Exactly. Like I've talked with a lot of people about this, and some people are saying, oh, well, the Taliban is just keeping up their leverage, showing the United States that, hey, we can be a thorn in your side. You really should sue for peace for us. You should also make this, that, and the other concessions because look how deadly our attacks are. But they forgot one thing. We have these things called B-52s, and there's this thing called carpet bombing. Now, I'm not suggesting we do it, but just the fact that we have the capability to do it, to me, seems like an incentive to not continue to, screw around. That's if I'd be like, if they're willing to do peace, like we should let them do peace because like I lost my hut like last week to a 500-pound JDAM, and I'm not really feeling like building another hut. Like at some point, it's got to become counterproductive, like at some point. But whatever. James Haga wants to know, what about the Texans win, buddy? I wouldn't call that. I know we're going to lose tons of viewers because everybody hates the NFL still and like whatnot, but I still watch because I love football because I'm from South Texas. The Texans didn't so much as win as they avoided losing. I would say that. That's all I have to say about that. It was embarrassing to watch. I did not like that at all. Speaking of guns, by the way, and defense, I forgot to add this in. I saw an article that did a little bit more math. About a year ago, I did some math on it and found out that it would be like roughly, if you took all the military and all the police, law enforcement in the entire United States versus all the gun owners, and you pit the numbers against all of the gun owners to where like 90% of military and police would go ahead with a mandatory gun confiscation and 90% of gun owners would surrender their firearms, leaving only 10% of gun owners with their firearms and only 10% of law enforcement and military abstaining. Even then, the number was 8.8 million gun owners with guns to 2.4 million gun grabbers. It's not really good. We have Rob. Rob, do those sound like good numbers in your favor if you're a gun grabber? 8.8 million versus 2.4 million?
So I'm not big on numbers and math, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty clear that gun grabbers are way outnumbered than they think they are. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you have the media behind you because the media only spits out about...
Yeah, like what are words going to do to me?
Yeah, they're not going to do anything.
I've never killed anybody with my words.
Huh?
I did like when I was in Iraq, I didn't go up to an insurgent and be like, "You're a poopy head," and then he keeled over and died. That never once happened. If it did happen, I probably shot him like while I was calling him a poopy head.
Yeah, I was gonna say
if that were to ever happen. Not saying that it did, but I'm just saying if it were to happen.
Gotcha.
Do you want to know the math that somebody else did?
Yeah, tell me.
Somebody else did the math, and they said that every single police officer or ATF agent or just every single person who decided to grab guns based on the number that we have right now, each officer would have to have survived 864 gun grab raids. Do you know how many missions bomber pilots in World War II had to survive before they got to get out of the war totally?
Not off the top of my head.
25.
Wow.
25. So... like, think about that, right? To get out of a war, 25 successful bombing missions. To successfully confiscate every single firearm in the United States against people who are putting up very little resistance, allegedly, have to survive 864 raids.
I'd say that's not realistic at all.
That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, Chris Keeper, remember when Charlie Wilson got all those arms to the Afghan fighters to push out Russia in the 80s and then we left them flat? Let's not do that with Hong Kong. Yeah, let's not. Let's actually support people. Like, let's get away from these forever wars and get back to, like, causing problems in, like, commies' backyards. I love causing problems for commies. Hate commies so much. I hate when they cause problems for us. Anyways... speaking of causing problems for us, a former top Google software engineer has warned that autonomous killer robots are actually a real threat. It's something that we will have to talk about in our lifetime, that It's finally proof that all my joking, sarcastic fear-mongering over Skynet becoming a real thing, well, it's actually kind of proved to be real fear-mongering as they warned that the AI would potentially start wars if it saw targets of opportunity. It's saying that the AI will like analyze the situation and then be like, oh, now's the perfect time to strike because their people are here, 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 and here. These aren't stood up. This isn't stood up. And it'll just act out like, oh, you wanted us to win. Well, this is how you win. We attack right now. Boom. Started a war. We're like, that was Britain, AI. And they're like, oh, our bad. Like Skynet's definitely going to become this real thing and definitely going to kill us, man. Like, the Navy just talked about it last week, how they were like, yeah, we got to really make sure that we don't give this common control system that we're utilizing for all the autonomous like naval ships too much control, and we got to make sure it works all together because if it doesn't, Skynet. And I'm just like, oh, the shit we used to joke about when we were in like 5th grade about Skynet, and now it's a real thing that we're actually having to be worried about. Oh man. Devin, are your numbers only taking into account registered guns, legally owned guns? Yes, that's the other thing, Devin, is we can only count what we know about, right? I can't say there's 6 guns that I don't know exist out there. So yeah, the numbers are only for the ones that we know about. Yeah. I mean, send robots to take the like. It'd be easier to shoot robots. That's for sure. They're glinty and noisy. They're loud. Very, very big targets. But yes, dude, Skynet's real. Like, it's a real worry. We used to joke about this. Even 3 years ago, we were like, don't let Skynet take over. And then they're like, hey, look, we have this autonomous warship that can go and do things without us directing. It just goes and does them. And it has weapons. Oh, yeah, totes. Hey, might want to check in on that. Yeah, let's see. Well, over 3/4 of my guns were bought where you don't have to register them. Well, here's the thing, Josh. I don't know what guns you're talking about. All my guns were lost in a boating accident. Fun fact, just didn't know if any of you guys knew this. Gun owners are terrible boat drivers. You wouldn't think, you'd think, responsible with this firearm, responsible with a boat. Not so. Not really responsible with boats. Still super responsible and safe with guns. Well, if you can call, like, guns aren't safe inherently. Like, their cause is to rip through, like, we all know why guns were made, right?
That fact you just spit out, it sounds like a really bad Snapple fact.
I can't believe people talk about it. Well, we gotta get guns safe. Okay, guns aren't safe. Like, inherently. That's their cause. Well, these guns were meant to kill. I'm not aware of a gun that was not meant to kill. Justin, Rob, are you guys aware of any guns that were meant to not kill?
Yeah, Nerf guns.
Yeah. Unless
airsoft,
Nerf,
paintball.
I put tannerite in my Nerf gun darts, so when it hits,
there's a little bit more of a surprise.
It's a little bit more spectacular of a show. I'm just kidding. I don't put tannerite in my Nerf guns, or do I? But like, dude, guns aren't safe. Like, stop making the argument to us that guns aren't safe. We know guns aren't safe. That's why we have them, so we can be not safe ourselves. I don't want people to be like, oh, look, that's a harmless guy. He won't hurt a fly, because then they'll probably rob me, or then they'll try to take more of my rights, and I want to have the gun and be like, I don't think you will with the modified urban stance. That's how you have to throw the bullets and insult people while you do it, else it won't actually hurt them. Everybody remembers that, right? Like, you're bad at ping pong. Yeah. And you're bad at tennis. No? Nobody? Okay. That's fine.
Wow.
That's fine.
Oh.
Chris Keeper, if I have 10 firearms and take away 10, how many do I have? 110. I lied about the others. That's how many. Some other good news. Osama bin Laden's son was killed. The White House confirmed. I don't know about you guys, but I thought he was killed earlier, like 3 months ago. Justin, who's one of our tech advisors, told us before the show that it was probably like a body double, and that was killed earlier that we thought we had gotten. But like, I thought he was dead earlier, but.
You reported this. We talked about this on the show probably 2 months ago.
Yeah,
I remember.
I thought about us. I thought we had done this. I thought we had discussed this. Is he really, really dead now? I mean, the White House confirmed it. So he's really, really dead.
According to the White House, it's official.
According to the White House, yeah. All right, Colombia and Venezuela. Ooh, they could go to war over the Maduro issue. Like, we haven't heard about Venezuela in a while. Like, he's been holding on to power despite the fact, I mean, we all saw that armored personnel carrier run over and kill someone on Facebook Live. Like, we all saw that, right? Rob, you remember seeing that? Justin, remember seeing that?
Yeah, we saw it, and we talked about this again.
This
is a topic we talked about 2 months ago, and it's finally coming to a head once
just
again.
Coming back around.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Coming back around. Like, Colombia is accusing Maduro of having military exercises on the Colombian-Venezuelan border, and those military exercises are Venezuela arming pro-communist socialist guerrillas who are trying to wage war against Colombia. That's what's supposedly going on. And, I mean, I don't know how Colombia and a war with Colombia and Venezuela will look. I don't know what the two of them are going to do to each other. But one thing's for sure. Your America's cocaine production's probably going to have to, or consumption's probably going to have to go down.
Well, here's the question:
because they're going to burn some fields.
If they truly go to war, are we going to try to intervene at all? I mean,
I don't know what we're going to do, dude. Like, I thought we were going to bomb Venezuela and Iran like 16 times by now, but remarkably, as compared to past administrations, we've shown a lot of restraint with people that we normally would have bombed. I mean, normally we'd have probably been into World War III by now. I've got to say, like, based off of what other administrations have done, you know. I mean, Wendell, you can look. This isn't a political show, and this is not the time or the place to come here and try to get your political agenda across. In fact, because I'll shut it down and we'll ban you from the page because I'm kind of a prick like that. But the truth of the matter is, you know, we honestly, we're not in war. We're not in a new war. We're only in the wars that have been continued under past administrations: Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and, you know, probably a few others that I don't know the names of. But we're not in war in Iran, and we're not in war in Venezuela, and we're not in war in North Korea, and we're not in war in China, which at this point, based off of some of the actions of some of those countries, I'm quite frankly surprised. But, you know, it is a day, you know, today is a new day, and we'll see what it has to bring. Guys, I'm sorry that Mikey is not here. All right, like, I'm sorry that Mikey is not here. I know you guys miss him. I know you guys love him. I know he has a better beard than me. I get it. I'm sorry he's not here. Maybe he'll be back by Thursday. Maybe he won't. I don't run his life. I'm not the boss of Mikey. So hopefully we do see him come back, because I know everybody enjoyed him. And if we don't, then you'll just have to make do with me. Sorry. You guys have a good Monday, and we'll see you on Thursday, all right?